Hello, good people. It's Rob Lee. It's been about a week since I've talked to you guys. It's good to be back. I've put together some videos while I was away, and I wanted my videos to take a turn. And, we can only keep talking about Muslims, but so much. We have much more going on than Muslims. And one of the things that I wanted us to talk about, and I did this video in increments because I'm working on another website, so if part of it seems a certain way or whatever, it's because it was done in increments. I'm a one-man show. I don't have any help. Well, just Jesus Christ, and that's enough for me. So anyway, let's get into it. What I want us to talk about is death. What happens to us when we die? Now, all over this earth, where 7.5 billion people, you start talking to different people about death. What happens when you die? You're going to get thousands upon thousands of different views and beliefs going back, some tens upon maybe even hundreds of thousands of years of beliefs of the afterlife. However, for those of us who believe in the Almighty Father through His beloved Son, Jesus the Christ, we have the truth. The question is, do we want to acknowledge the truth, or do we want to continue to do what we always do, which is allow the media, the television, the propaganda machines of churches, academia, to give us a false sense of what happens at death? And I understand that death is scary. Most people don't want to talk about death. Most people they're scared of death. And I understand that. I mean, people get scared when they go to the doctor. They get scared when they go to have a tooth extracted. So talking about death is not a very popular subject. It's just not. And I don't know how this video is going to do. I've never done a video and set out with a set number that I wanted to get, because I've never made any money. So I put it out there, and I figure if whoever is supposed to get it, they'll get it. If you're not supposed to get it, then you're not supposed to get it. It's bigger than me, man, way bigger. So I do the will of my Father. I do the work, and whoever benefits from it, they benefit from it. And what really happens, we need to let our Father teach us. And your Father loves you enough that He will put certain people in your life, and they will teach you the truth. But if they go outside of the parameters of Scripture and start giving you thoughts and guesses, then they're not actually telling you the truth. Because the truth is this: unless you trust the Almighty Father, nothing that anybody could say about life after death is nothing more than a guess. And if it goes against what our Almighty Father tells us, then it becomes a lie. So I wanted us, with what's going on in the world, I wanted us to have an understanding of death and what happens at death, really. Because many people have a misconception about death. Many people, especially in the so-called Christian church, many faiths that have sprang from the Bible. And it's amazing how you can have faiths that have sprang from the Bible who will take the Bible and twist it totally around. Man, it's an amazing thing when you realize the Bible is true. Whether or not you like it or not is a different story. Because many people do not like the Old Testament, some of the parts of it. That's fine. Trust me, the Father's He's not pacing, worrying about if we like it or not. But let's talk about the truth. Many people believe if you were to walk into a Christian church, a 501c Christian church, and a 501c3 Christian church, and you were to ask a congregation, say a large congregation of a couple thousand people, what happens, people, when you die? The 99.99% of them are going to tell you, you go to heaven and you get to be with God. You get to go to heaven. You're going to have your reward. You get to be reunited with all the ones that you've lost, your family, your friends. It's going to be one big utopia, right? Well, that's a lie. That's not what the Bible actually tells us at all. Now, the first thing I want us to do is this. I want us to understand that when you read the Bible, for people who have been called to understand the Bible. Now, the Bible is not for everybody to understand. And you say, well, that doesn't sound fair. Well, your Father is really, he doesn't care about being fair. He cares about loving you. And for each of us, he gives gifts. Certain types of understanding and gifts. For what I may have a gift in, you may not, and vice versa. We all have a measure out of his cup that he gives us. I had no idea that I was going to be called to teach the Bible, that I was going to be called to expose the church. 10 years ago, I was the antithesis of what I am now. I was a bad person. The Father uses people because he chooses to use them. I've always belonged to him. Even when I had no idea that I did, I was always his. Now, I'm going to teach you today in this video what happens when you really die. You will know it. There will be no excuse for you going forward for you not to know what happens at death. You will know the truth from the one who created you. Now, this video is not going to be a 10-minute video, so if this is going to be something that you may want to mark, you may want to come back to, that's fine. You may want to get yourself something to drink and get comfortable, because I'm not going to be able to put this in a 10 or 12-minute video. It's impossible. In fact, it could realistically take 4 or 5 hours, but I'm going to try to keep it within 30 to 35 minutes, because I could actually drag it out for hours upon hours and go through every single verse, but I'm going to condense it. The first thing that we need to understand is that when you're reading the Bible and you're reading the word of the Creator, you have to understand what is literal and what is symbolic. This is key. I mean, this is paramount to truly understanding the Holy Bible. Now, let me give you an example, and I want to explain to you what I'm talking about. Now, this is all throughout the Bible. Literal versus symbolic. And many people who try to understand the Bible, they cannot deviate between the two, literal and symbolic. Okay? You cannot take every part of the Holy Scriptures literally, and you cannot take every part of the Bible as symbolism, which is actually, I have met some people that actually do this. They take every part of the Bible and they turn it into some sort of symbolic lesson or meaning. Let's read something here. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 1:25. Now, I want you to read this with me, and then let's look at the meaning of literal versus symbolic, or what is also what we call in everyday life a figure of speech. 1 Corinthians 1:25. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. Now, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. Do any of you believe that there's anything weak about your Almighty Creator? Not hardly. It's a figure of speech. It's just a figure of speech. You know, it's a figure of speech. We do it every day in life. You have to know when to take the Bible literally, and you have to know when it's being talked about in a symbolic manner. This is paramount to understanding the Scriptures. Another thing I want to talk about is, for example, all these different beliefs: Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, atheism, all these different beliefs here. And I even put the Apache on there because the Native Americans, even though they're not actually native to this country, I love them. They have their own beliefs. You know, you go inside of the earth, you come back. Everybody has their own beliefs, right? But Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Catholicism, again, are supposed to be synonymous. This is just not true. They are in disagreement with one another constantly. Okay, there can only be one truth. Now, many people believe that there are many truths, many paths to the Creator. Oprah Winfrey has corrupted 25 million people, if not more, by trying to teach that you can get to Jesus Christ, or the light, as she calls it, enlightenment, You can get to Jesus Christ through many paths, many ways. Yet, our Father tells us just the opposite. Just the opposite. We are told just the opposite. So, therefore, let's go ahead and read and see what our Father says about life after death. Who could possibly be a better teacher to you than your Father? You need to open up your mind and remember that most of what we have been taught through churches and academia are lies. Lies. And eventually, people, you're going to have to come to the reality that the Bible is 100% true, and that we are living among beings that are not like us. And I know this is too much for some of you because you constantly need something tangible. If you can't touch it, feel it, hold it, taste it, smell it, it can't be real. I feel bad for you because you have not been touched by the Father yet to understand the spiritual world. All right, let's go ahead and let's read, and let's let our Father teach us. And we're going to read a few verses, and I'll just read, and then we'll just keep going from there. And I will try to keep this as short as I can without taking away from the meaning of it. Psalms 13:3, and Psalms was written by David, a man who the Bible said was a man after Yahweh's own heart. That's how much that he loved the Father. In fact, I'll tell you something about me. I have prayed to the Father quite a few times in my life. And while I didn't want to model myself after David because I'm my own person, I did want to love the Father the way David did. And I've made many mistakes that David made, bad ones, evil ones. But I do chase after my Father constantly. I want to please him, and I love him. And I would not choose anything or any person on this earth over my Father. Come hell or high water, I'm with him till the end. Let's read Psalms 13:3. Consider and hear me, O Lord, my God, lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. The sleep of death. Okay? Because when you die, people, you go to sleep. Your body, your physical body is gone forever. That's your fleshly body. It leaves you forever. It's gone. Your spirit does not fly away to heaven. Your spirit is dormant. It goes to sleep. Why do you think there is a resurrection? I mean, if we all just got to fly away to heaven, I mean, why do you think there is a resurrection? You see, you have gone past, you have skipped judgment, and you have skipped the resurrection. You've gone right on to heaven. This has been done by the evil of this world to corrupt the truth because they do not want you to know the truth. Let's continue. Psalms 115:17. The dead praise not the Lord, neither any that go down into silence. You cannot give praise to the Almighty Father because when you die, your spirit is asleep. You are done. You are done until Jesus the Christ comes and resurrects you. So you're not in heaven giving praise to the Almighty Father. It's over. Daniel 12:2. Please pay attention to this. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Let me read it again for you, because it's that important. Daniel 12:2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth, this is talking about many of them, the ones who have died, shall awake. This is the resurrection. And when you are judged, some will have everlasting life, and some will have everlasting contempt and shame. And who will raise you up? Jesus Christ. But let's go slow. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's go to the New Testament. Now, we all know, for the people who have read the Bible, even some, or even heard the stories about Jesus and his healing ministry. Jesus was constantly healing people. And Jesus would actually raise people from the dead. And you have charlatans now, pretending now that they can raise people from the dead. Not hardly, baby. It ain't going to happen. How many people do you know now who can raise people from the dead? Right, I didn't think so. So let's read what Jesus Christ says. And I could do 50 of these verses, but I'm going to try to keep it short. Jesus Christ, he said unto them, give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. Well, then Jesus Christ came, and he raised a young child up, and she lived, because she was not dead. She was sleeping. Okay, she was asleep. She was asleep. This is what happens when you die. You don't run off to heaven, and you don't go to hell, and you don't get to, you're not going to be tormented with eternal punishment. Not yet. That's reserved for a certain being. And this is something that the churches have used and abused to scare the hell out of people, pardon the pun, to control you. There is eternal punishment, but it's not like what most people think. Yahweh is not running a torture chamber. All right, there's not this massive oven and he's going to cook you and he's up in heaven and he's just rubbing his hands together and yes, I told you I was going to punish you. That's fantasy and BS, man, and it makes my Father look bad. And the wretched, diabolical monsters who teach this know that it's a lie. It's a lie. Let's go on. Mark 5:39. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado and weep? Why are you crying? He said. The damsel is not dead, again, but she sleepeth. She's asleep. That's it. Luke 8:52. And all wept and bewailed her, but he said, Weep not. She is not dead, but sleepeth. She's simply sleeping. Let's continue. 1 Corinthians 15:51. Pay attention, people. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep. This means that we shall not all die, but we shall all be changed. And what Paul is saying here is that when Jesus Christ returns, there are some of us who will never actually have a physical death. That means that there's going to be people alive when Jesus Christ returns, and that some of us will never actually die a physical death. All right, let's go ahead. And we're going to go over here now and we're going to read 1 Thessalonians 4:13 and 4:14. And please pay attention. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, this is Paul talking, concerning them which are asleep. Asleep. And surely you don't believe he's talking about actually in a bed sleeping. He's talking about those who have passed on. That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. When you die, people, you don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell. You simply go to a place of rest until the appointed time. I want us to read now 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And how incredibly telling this is. This is Paul speaking. And he's telling the story of when Jesus was resurrected, the people that seen him. Now, let's read and let's understand. And that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the scriptures, and that he was seen of Cephas, which is Peter, then of the 12. After that he was seen of above 500 brethren at once, of whom the greater part remain unto this present, but some are fallen asleep. Now, it's obvious that Paul is saying here that when Jesus Christ was resurrected, Jesus Christ was seen of Peter, then he was seen by 500 brothers or more. But and Paul is saying most of them are still alive, but many of them have what? They have fallen asleep. They have died. Okay? Because that's what that actually means. All right, let's move on, brothers and sisters. 1 Corinthians 15:52. Now, we just got through reading this, but I want us to read it again. In the moment, the twinkling of an eye at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. This is when Jesus Christ will return. And this is sooner than what most people really understand. Man, you are living in the most fascinating time in history. Even though it is painful, it's hard, you are right now, you are closer to seeing the one who made you return. It's absolutely, as painful as it is, it's a glorious time to be alive. It truly is. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, this is talking about, for let's say Jesus Christ was to return now. Boom. In the twinkling of an eye, you and I will leave these flesh bodies and we will return to spirit form. And it says at the last trump. We have a president named Trump. Now, does that have any significance? Do I think Trump is a Christian? Not even close. I know exactly what Trump is. But I believe Trump was a gift to us from our Father, to give us a short season to prepare ourselves spiritually and physically. It was a sign from the Almighty Father, because most of you know Trump, there's no way in hell he should have won that election. Trump won it because your father intervened. No, I don't think Trump is a savior, and I get so angry when people come to this channel with Trump this and Trump that. Call Trump when you have no food, water, or when you are dead, or when you have to face your maker. See what Trump can do for you then. Yeah. Let's move on, people. Daniel 12:2. Okay, now we read it before, but we're going to read it again. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. I want to pound that into your heads. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Onward. John 6:39. And this is the Father's will. These are the words of Jesus Christ. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that all of which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. Who's going to raise you up? Jesus Christ. At the last day. John 6:40. And this is the will of him that sent me, because Yahweh sent his Son, Yahshua, that every one which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. Jesus Christ is the one who will raise you, and Jesus the Christ is the one who will judge you. And this is one of the reasons that Jesus the Christ is so despised. And there is a war on Jesus the Christ, because the evil of this world knows the Bible far better than most of you do. It pains me to say that, but it's the truth. They know the truth about this beautiful being called Yeshua, whom we call Jesus. They know who he is. They know that he is coming for them. You see, there's more to the Bible than what most people could. Man, once you realize that the Bible is true, and you allow the Bible to be taught to you properly, it will change your whole life. You will become a new creation. It's either Jesus Christ, people, or you fail. Period. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and no man goes to the Father except through him. Period. Not Allah, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Kali, I don't care, any of these little false gods. All of us, listen to me, we are going to be held accountable before him. Before him. So let's read a little bit about Matthew 10:15, Matthew 11:22, Matthew 11:24. And if you will read all these, this is Jesus the Christ talking to the people, and he's saying it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment. It repeats itself again, two different cities at the day of judgment. Again, at the day of judgment, because there is a day, and it's called Judgment Day. And this is for real. Romans 14:10. Why dost thou judge thy brother, or why dost thou set it not thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. You better believe that we all will. And this angers people. It scares people. And more than anything, in my own personal opinion, I believe it scares people. People don't like that. People don't want to know that they're going to have to answer. The people who have denied him, mocked at him, laughed at him, now you get to come before him. You won't be laughing then. You see, your little bitty existence is in his hands. In his hands. And people despise him for this, but you're not going to change it. Hate all you want. You ain't going to change a damn thing. But go ahead. Keep on hating. Revelation 6:9, and we're gonna read this for a reason, because I want to show you twofold. One, I want to show you the difference between literal and symbolic, and I also want to show you your brothers and sisters and what's going to happen to us. And I don't want you to get scared. I want you to learn the truth, man. Let's learn the truth, and then let's go from there. Revelation 6:9, and when he had opened up the fifth seal, I saw under the altar. Now this is John, the Apostle John, the most beloved, who is in heaven. And John was taken up to heaven. He was a hostage on the island of Patmos, and the Romans wanted to kill him, but Yahweh would not allow him to be killed. John was taken up into heaven, and he was allowed to see a vision from the beginning to the very end, and he was to record it. And much of what John wrote was symbolic. When he had opened up the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. Now, these are the people that have been, over the past 2,000 years, these are the people that have been murdered, butchered for the name of Jesus Christ, whether it be by the Roman Catholic Church, whether it be by the Bolsheviks, whether it be by any other people. And when I say Bolsheviks, I mean Zionists. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And these people were atheists. Some of the people that believe that nothing came from nothing. They have nothing to answer to. I'll deal with you later. Maybe not in this video, but I've got a special little video that I want to do for the atheists. Not that all of you are bad, but you have a special kind of belief that nothing came from nothing, right? I mean, that's a leap of faith, baby. Nothing came from nothing, right? Just boom, here we are. Showed up. Let's go on, people. Revelation 6:9. Now let's go down to 10 because we've already read 9. And they cried with a loud voice. These are the people that are under the altar that have died. But are they really there? No, this is symbolic. Okay, they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren, that they should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. That's us, people. See, because the next tribulation is already forming, and we are those fellow servants that it's talking about here. And these verses that you're reading is not actually in heaven happening. This is symbolic, because there is the blood of many hundreds of millions of the children of the Almighty Father on the hands of the evil of this world. All right, people. So we have read about judgment. We've read about what happens when you die. We know that Jesus Christ will raise us up, right? Now, in the world that we're living in now, we know that bad things are happening. Bad things are happening. And that some of us are going to have to endure hell. Now, many of you, forget my squeaky chair, many of you come to the channel and you will tell me that you'll call me a P, you'll call me, you'll call the people cowards, and America's this, and we should take back this, and and it's kind of foolish. It's kind of, you can see some poor pathetic kid who doesn't really understand what's happening. He knows that bad things are happening, but he believes that he can go get his gun and put some beans in his backpack and some band-aids, and on bravery he's going to take it back. Take what back, boy? What are you going to take back? The only thing that's going to happen is that you are going to be shot dead or taken away to a prison camp. That's it. Period. That's what's going to happen to you. That's your fate. You see, this is already written. This is bigger than us getting together and forming militias and think that we're going to take it back. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't defend yourself? Hell no. If anything tries to come to my door and harm me or my family, it will be met with maximum resistance. Trust me. I will not dare go out and seek trouble. I will not go looking for it. I will pray that I may be found worthy to escape it. That I may be found worthy to escape it. You see, if you think things are bad now, things are going to get worse. Many of us are going to have to die for our Creator. And there's a belief among people, it's called the rapture. And I could destroy this belief easily. I mean, it's so easy to destroy. Poor people who have taken one verse out of context, and it happened in 1893. Up until this time, it was never heard of. There was never anything such as a rapture taught. But people actually believe it. And think about the the arrogance of this, that people believe that they're so special, that hundreds of millions of your brothers and sisters have been murdered, but you think that Jesus is going to reach down special and pluck you out. Who in the hell do you think you are to have such a belief that you're so special that you don't have to endure any tribulation? It's because you don't know the Bible. You've let some other liar teach you something, and then you have ran with it. Okay, people, with what we're going through, many of us are going to have to face our own tribulation. Some of us are going to be killed for Jesus Christ. Some of us are going to be taken away to camps, where the world is going to turn on us. We are going to be hated for his name's sake. If you will endure till the end, Jesus Christ will give you a crown of life. You will make it. And many of you are going to make it. You are his. And you will face whatever comes at you with your head up. Many of you, some of you, may be found worthy to escape. Then what this is saying here, if we read this verse here, is that pray that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. For example, some people will be allowed, in my opinion, well, it's not an opinion, but I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but the Father will move them. Many people will move to what I call the wilderness. And I don't mean just getting out into the country. I mean going deeper. And these people will live kind of primitive for a certain, I believe it will be a short season. And when all this tribulation in hell is taking place, they will be allowed to escape it by living tucked away where Jesus Christ has put them until he comes to get them. And you see people, I know people that have bought property and way back in the middle of nowhere because they are prepared to go there and try to stay away from this world. And no matter where you go, you always know this. If you lived in the heart of the city, if the Father wants you to get through it and not have one scratch on you, you will have it. If the Father wants you to have water, shelter, food, if he wants to save your life, save your children, he will do it. The best thing that you can do to prepare yourself would be to love him. Love him and serve him. That way, when you go to him, you can have confidence knowing that what you ask for, you will receive. Let's go forward, people. Revelation 14:7, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. For the hour of judgment is come. You damn right it's coming. 2 Peter 2:3, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. They make through feigned words, they make merchandise of you. What does that mean? Well, it means that bankers, corporations, YouTube video makers, churches, academia, through their words, you see. Basically what it's saying is that they got a really good talk game. You see, through their words, they're able to seduce you and make merchandise of you. They use you. You become a number to them. They want to get whatever they can get out of you while they are killing you. And their damnation, but see, they are already damned. This is why a man can make a video on YouTube and tell a lie and not feel any kind of remorse and then make money from you as he's doing it, because he's already doomed. He does not love you. He does not love God. He can throw up a cross, call himself a Christian, call himself he has a ministry. He is a deceiver. And these are the people that I'm constantly trying to warn you about. Now, notice how Peter follows it up. Stay with me. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Notice how Peter goes from that right into the angels that fell. The same bloodline that is upon this earth now, whether it be a guy making YouTube, the Rothschild family, the Queen of England, Barack Obama, or the waitress down the street, their DNA is all over this earth. You are not like them. You are different. You see, one of the grossest lies ever forced upon this earth is that we are all different. no, excuse me, that we are all the same, that we're all one, we're all God's children, and we all come from Jesus. And I mean, these beliefs, you see, it's a gross lie that the church has forced on people, and you will hear people say it constantly. The truth is that the Almighty Father of the Bible was not inclusive. He was exclusive. It was his family, and he told us that there is another family that exists that is not my family. They are the children of the serpent, and they are right among you now. I want you to read this right here in Romans 8:18 first. I want you to, and I know we've bounced around, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with bouncing around. I want you guys to read this, because I want it to make you feel good. For Paul says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." Friends, no matter how hard it is, no matter what hell that you may have to endure, the Almighty Father has sent his Son to give you a reward and glory that our poor little minds cannot comprehend in these fleshly bodies. We are going to be glorified and marveled over because we made it. We endured. You see, we are the loyal ones. We are the ones who loved our Father even unto death. And that's what it's about. You have to love your Father even unto death. Don't you see what Jesus Christ did for you? He set the example for you. You have to love your Father even unto death, and your reward will be greater than you can imagine. Okay, I'm going to close it out now. I think we've, in my opinion, I think we've learned a lot. I want us to read just a couple more things, though, and then I'm going to say a couple words, and we're going to close it out. For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son, Jesus Christ. He is the judge. He is the judge. Okay? He is the judge. Matthew chapter 24, Jesus the Christ is talking about the Great Tribulation, and it is forming around us now. If you cannot see this, it's because you are spiritually blind. You see, many people know that something's wrong, and they believe they are going to actually keep it from happening. Not on your best day. I'm not saying that you will not defend yourself. I'm saying that you believe that you're going to make a change. You are so sadly mistaken. Matthew 24, pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall the great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor shall ever be. How bad will it be if Jesus Christ is telling you that never in history has it ever been this bad before? And except for those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, us, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man say to you, lo, here is the Christ, or there is the Christ, believe it not. Jesus Christ is basically telling you and I that it will get so bad that they will kill us all. If Jesus Christ, if the Father did not shorten those days, they would kill us all. I mean, just take a look at what we have to endure. I mean, the air. I mean, they are modifying the weather. They are poisoning the air. They have poisoned the ocean. They actually give sewage water to people to drink now and to bathe in. With all the water, the fresh water that we have on this earth, don't you find it? I mean, isn't it just a little bit odd to you that we actually have a drought? A drought, really? And we have to take sewage water, and in some parts of California and across this country, we're taking the sewage water and so-called cleaning it and giving it back to you to shower, bathe, and it's even been reported that, and I believe it, that some companies have taken it and put it in bottles and called it spring water, mountain water, give it a cool and catchy title. All right, yeah, I got you. And how about the fluoride in the water? Many countries have outlawed it, and even some states and cities now have said enough with the fluoride. It does nothing but kill you. It makes you complacent. It kills you, but they give it to you. Ask yourself why. Oh, that's right. It was for the teeth. That's what it was. The food that we eat. contaminated with poisons, enough to start a fire. Medicine. Oh, the medicine and the future of medicine, not only to rob you, but to make you sicker. As we go into what's called transhumanism, where these creatures want to allow themselves to try to live forever, because you see, they believe they are going to defeat Jesus Christ and they are going to have this earth as their home. Not going to happen, but they believe it. They believe it because the Father has allowed them to believe it. Read Psalms 2, chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Read that and you'll see it will explain it to you. And your Father laughs at them. He laughs at them. He mocks them. He basically laughs at them and tells them, please. We are the most medicated country in the world. 60% of all the psychotropic drugs in the world are taken by people in the United States. You see, there's a pill for the pill now. There's a pill for the pill, and there's a pill for the pill for the pill. This is what America has become. Vaccinations. Stick poison in our children, have no idea what it even is, and people will fight you and tell you that you have to get your child vaccinated because they can't have their poor little angel getting sick from your child. These are the most dangerous people. These are the people that are going to turn on you, and they've already started. How many children each year die, end up with autism or worse from vaccinations? Pure poison. Politically, Democrat, Republican, please, people, spare me. There's only one. It's called being awake. The media, liars, demonic, evil liars, and the moral agenda now that men, women are merging as one, just as they did in the days of Noah. And who's behind this? The fallen ones, because this is what they are. This is what they do. This is what they've always done. And the agenda is pumped out from Hollywood, the satanic capital of the United States. Most people don't even know what a holly tree is. It was used in witchcraft. Then you have the churches. You see, this is what the world sees. They see this Osteen. This is what I see. I see him for what he is. He is a demonic being. Listen, I don't care if you believe me or not. I know the truth. I don't believe, I know. The word believe means to lend to. I don't lend to anything. I know what I know. Fact. The Father has shown me. So when you spare me, when you come to the channel and you tell me this or that, you're not God, you see. Therefore, I have to just put you to the side and tell you I don't give two shits about what you think or say. You see, I know your fate. Pope Francis, a new era. He's a serpent. He will help to usher in the one world religion. All this is happening for a reason. Your jobs. The United States was the most prosperous country just 50 years ago on this earth. Now all the jobs, man, slowly are going to China, Pakistan, Mexico, India. They're leaving. We are being invaded by Muslims. Evil, sadistic, monsters, crazy. We give them our money. We give them our money to prop them up. The same people that are funding La Raza, Black Lives Matter, that are funding all these groups that hate you and want to kill you. You see, it's called the time of Jacob's trouble. And I made this video because I don't want you to fear them and I don't want you to fear death. I want you to love your Father. That's it, man. You love your Father. Nothing else. You don't need to worry about anything else but loving Him. That's it. That's all you need to do is love Him. Let's read another verse before we close. This is Philippians 2:9. Wherefore God also hath highly exalted Him and given Him a name which is above every name. His ancient Hebrew name was Yeshua. His name that we call Him now in English is Jesus. And it is above what? Every name. Every name. I told you earlier that we will judge these angels. We will also help to judge Jesus Christ, to judge the world. I want you to see how wonderful your true calling is. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints. That means that when you have a problem with a brother or sister, you go to the brother or the sister. Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? That's you people. Well, those of you who are of the flock of Jesus Christ. And if the world shall be judged by you, because remember, Jesus Christ said he's going to make some of us priests, judges. We are going to rule with him. Know ye not that we shall judge angels? Wow. Let me say it again for you. Verse number 3, know ye not that we shall judge angels? Well, we know we're not going to judge the good angels because those are our brothers, right? So what angels are we going to judge, and why would we judge them? We are to judge the fallen ones, these wicked, diabolical monsters that are among you everywhere that most people are in denial about. You are going to judge them. Why would your father pick you to judge them? Who would be better qualified to judge these monsters than the ones that they have harmed? Do you not see the infinite wisdom in your father, man? How incredibly wonderful and loving that he's going to let you sit in judgment upon these sadistic creatures. You. I could go on forever, people, teaching. It's time to put this to an end. So I want you guys, when people start talking about life after death and channeling spirits and mediums and ghosts, the people that we've lost are gone. When somebody dies, they go to sleep. There's no ghost. And if you are talking to a loved one, you're talking to a demon. You're talking to an evil spirit. The Bible is filled with this, man. I mean, I could do this teaching for probably a day straight, but I can't, because I have to try to keep it as short as I can for you. There's no such thing, people. When you die, you go to sleep. When you die, you go to sleep. You're not talking with family members. There's no such thing as a good spirit. The spirits that the Almighty Father, the good angels, they don't come and hang out with us. There's been people that say, my child, they wrote written books. I went to heaven, I went to hell, and my child, he went to hung out with Jesus for an hour. There was a demonic pastor named Rick Joyner that claims that he went to heaven, and the Father sent him back and told him that the people who wrote the Bible, they got it wrong. You see, these are the monsters that live among you. They will do any and everything to corrupt you and to keep you full of lies. But your Father will send lowly people among you, the people who are meant to hear it. You will know the truth, and you will hear the truth, and you will take it, and you will tie it around your neck, and you will wear it for life. You've been shown the truth. Not that I have the truth. I showed you the truth from your Father. Your Father gave you the truth. And the church is so evil. I want to close with this from 1 Peter 4:17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end of them that obey not the gospel be? Judgment will begin at the church. The modern church, the Catholic Church, the people that mock the Almighty Father 24/7, 365 days a year. Think about that. Judgment will begin at the house of God. There's a reason for that. I love you guys. I've rambled on enough. I look forward to your comments. I'm sure I'm going to hear lots of questions, but I'll deal with them as best as I possibly can. I love you guys. Take care. Take care of one another, and I'll leave you with this. Matthew 28:10. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and earth. So to Barack Obama, to the Rothschilds, to the Queen, to all you evil, wretched monsters, and I mean from the lowly to the highest, Jesus Christ says, bring it. He says, bring it, and bring it hard. You're going to lose. You are going to lose. And for all of you who love him, cling to him. Cling to him. Cling to him. Love him. Stay close to him. Stay close to him. Come what will, you stay close to him and you love him.